Welcome to the show, guys. This is the big one. This is what we've been waiting for, everybody. I'm telling you, this is President Trump's big bombshell news today, guys. We got two big things that are finally happening. I'm telling you, take a seat, get some popcorn, because this is what has been happening all along, and we knew it was happening. Bombshell new CIA report has revealed that Obama's administration spy agency's assessment that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump was deliberately corrupted and made up by the CIA and the FBI to frame a sitting president cause for treasonous acts against Obama. Guys, this is what we waited for. CIA Director Ratcliffe has officially come out with the evidence. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because they manipulated the CIA and the FBI to go against a sitting president. Is this treasonous acts against Obama? Because Ratcliffe says it is. And not only that, guys, this is the good. I love this stuff. With the new amendment to the big beautiful bill. Let me know your thoughts, because this is in the poll in the comments. With Trump administration is moving to strip away all financial aid given to illegal aliens at every level, the federal, the state, and the local level, saying that if any federal aid dollars, local dollars, state dollars are given to illegal aliens, they will face fines and they could potentially face prison, guys. This is taking it to the next level. This is something that we knew Trump was going to clean out America, but when you can put it into the federal law that the dollars going cannot touch illegal aliens, guys, it is getting real deep, real fast. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is the biggest hit to the Democratic Party base for their elections, because not only, listen to this, this is the new bill. The new amendments, guys, Making American Elections Great Again Act. This right here would make sure that at every single level, the Democrats cannot win. They cannot win at the federal level, the state, or the local level, because it always goes back to the money. If Trump cuts off all the money from the Democrats being able to give these illegal aliens money, then guess what? They lose their base. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because Trump is not messing around. On top of that, President Trump has called on Jerome Powell to officially resign immediately. Trump says that he wants rates below 1%. He wants to refinance the $9 trillion that is coming due to be paid out at the end of this year. He wants it financed below 1%, guys. You are talking about some of the biggest changes. 2025 will be a year that sets everything in motion for the rest of the next 50 years on making sure America is great again. We have a new federal judge who is trying to circumvent the Supreme Court's ruling on the nationwide injunctions. This judge, who is an Obama-appointed judge, has declared, guys, let me know your thoughts on this. This is so crazy. This Marxist judge has just declared that all potential future illegal aliens on foreign soil across the entire planet are part of a protected global class and are entitled to admission into the United States. I am not making this stuff up, guys. This is what the judge has stated and has filed this injunction. Trump is going back with the Supreme Court. This has to end. This is ridiculous. Every single person in the entire planet that's not a U.S. citizen is now a part of a global protected class with an entitlement to be admitted into the United States. I don't think so. But we've got some big news today, because Trump is winning. Trump has won over $55 million in lawsuits over the last few months. $16 million from ABC, $16 million from CBS, $25 million from Meta, Facebook. We are winning for America, guys, but this bombshell news that the CIA director has now caught the Obama administration spying, corrupting the CIA and the FBI to frame a sitting president, which was Donald Trump, which is now being looked at as a treasonous act. Guys, this is some big stuff. This is the deep state of the deep state. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. We've got a big show for you today. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Woo, man, this is big today, guys. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our family here at True Life News so that we can serve you with the top news every single day, guys. We bust our butt to give you the best show possible because a lot is happening. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. Thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. We're so thankful that you support us in our giving. When you're a member or you give a super chat donation, we donate this money live on stream to a local charity every single month. I want to say thank you so much, Elaine Demeen, OG of the channel. Guys, show Elaine some love in the chat. And if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, this is a big show for you today. We've got Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene with the new amendment to completely cut off all non-citizens, illegal aliens, from receiving any financial aid at the federal, the state, and the local level. Making America Elections Great Again Act. You have the bombshell news of the CIA that is found out with Director Ratcliffe, with the Obama administration spying, corrupting the CIA, the FBI. We have the new Supreme Court ruling that is fighting now against this injunction from this Marxist judge who has declared that every single person that is not a citizen of the United States is part of a protected global class entitled to admission into the United States. Are you kidding me? Guys, big show today, guys. Check this out, because I'm telling you, they're trying to water down what Trump's trying to do, but Trump's got a different plan. He's playing chess while they're playing checkers. Let me know your thoughts. Check this out.
All right, so the big, beautiful bill passes 51-50 with J.D. Vance as the tie-breaking vote after Rand Paul, Tom Tillis, and Susan Collins voted against the bill, requiring a tie-breaking vote, obviously, from the VP. Good news, it does have some of the fundamental things that Trump noted today.
It's the greatest tax cut in the history of our country, and if it doesn't pass, it's the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. That alone, 68% increase, as opposed to a massive cut. It's the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, and everybody gets it.
That is 100% correct. This made the Trump tax cuts permanent, and if it had not passed, taxes would have gone up for 68% of Americans. But it's a far cry from what passed the House, or an even further cry from what Trump originally wanted. Look, I love Trump. There's no doubt to my MAGA bona fides, but I want him to be successful, but I think he's being taken advantage of behind the scenes by some people. I think he's being told one thing and they're doing another. Some very key provisions have been removed, and we're going to get to those in a sec. As I said yesterday, most of these were removed by a Democrat-appointed bureaucrat through a process called the Bird Rule.
And guys, I want to show you this right quick because, again, too, this is the biggest change that is coming in the next month with this new bill, with what they're working on, guys. Trump is hitting every single thing that he can to make sure that non-citizens that are not going to get taxpayer benefits. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is to introduce the bill requiring proof of citizenship to vote, new census, and a new census that only counts citizens. Trump is not playing around, and he's using everybody that he can to get his stuff across because he knows that there's rhinos and there's corrupt people in the system.
Bird Rule, okay? This requires reconciliation bills, which to this is to remain focused on fiscal issues, subjecting non-budgetary provisions to a point of order. 60 votes are required to waive the Bird Rule, points of order, and then there's 6 rules of the Bird Rule pillars, I guess you'd call them. Now, what are these 6 rules and their definitions? And I'm only going to read these in full to see how ridiculous this really is. 1, it does not produce a change in outlays or revenues unless it is a term or condition of a provision that does produce a change in outlays or revenues. 2, it produces an outlay increase or revenue decrease, and the instructed committee is not in compliance with its instruction. Okay. 3, it is outside the jurisdiction of the committee that submitted the title or provision, whatever that means. 4, it produces a change or outlays or revenues that are merely incidental to the non-budgetary components of the provision. 5, it would increase the deficit for a fiscal year beyond those covered by the reconciliation. 6, it violates Section 310G of the CBA, which prohibits recommendations to a reconciliation bill regarding Social Security, retirement, and disability insurance. You could see how a partisan pencil pusher or a politician might be able to convince someone about this or that or anything could violate any portion because it's so broadly written in language that nobody can read except for like a 50-year practicing lawyer. That's what politicians do, though, I guess, twist things. And they did. Under the guise of procedural garbage, some of Trump's most ardent agenda items were completely stripped or remanded to a 60-vote majority in order to be included. This pre-voting process is called the bird bath, where Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough, who I told you about yesterday, goes around chopping stuff under the guise of procedure. So what was cut? We told you yesterday about might be cut, but now it's on the record.
Guys, and look, this is big too. I want to show you this because what you're seeing here, they're not going to stop. Every single deep stater is trying to hinder Trump's agenda. Just like this, Obama judge includes all current and future illegal aliens in a class resuming nationwide injunctions. So now that we are saying that the injunctions aren't stopping, you got people in the House and the Senate that are going to continue fighting Trump. That's why Trump is not just trying to get things done by one way. He's using all different types of ways to complete his agenda, put Americans first, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is the big bombshell news that we finally, guys, are attacking this with such veracity. Guys, look at this. Not only are we going against every single deep stater and calling them out, Obama's Trump-Russia inclusion report was corrupt from the start. Every single thing that they lied, they cheated, they made up things is now being called out. There's words being thrown around, guys, like this. Treason over what Obama did. Guys, this is big stuff. And what I'm showing you is that we're finally getting to see that Trump is not playing around, especially when it comes to giving Americans their hard-earned benefits. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Votes, but not the 60. Here from the New York Times. The Senate parliamentarian determined that this provision does not comply with the chamber's rules and it may be removed or modified. I'm sorry, we have laws that say you can't be here illegally, but we're not allowed to pass a law that doesn't allow those illegal people or people on temporary status to receive my tax dollars. I mean, seriously? But this goes in the same vein as something that nearly every Democrat objected to in this bill, which was that they're hiring 10,000 more ICE agents, which is weird because they called that fiscally irresponsible, but had zero problem hiring 87,000 IRS agents to persecute actual tax-paying citizens. Same thing with private school vouchers. She nixed that too. That was huge for people like me who hate the public school system as it has become. Ban on federal funding for child sex change surgeries. Apparently you can't do that either, which is weird because the Supreme Court just gave parents the right to opt out of the educational side of that. All this stuff stripped out that passed the House. Ban on courts punishing Trump officials for contempt. Nixed the sell-off of post office electric vehicles. Apparently we can't do that. We have to charge a fee for unions to use federal buildings. It sounds an awful lot like a budgetary issue to that. Can't cut EPA mandates either. Can't pass voter ID because a non-elected person said so. Funding for sanctuary cities? Nope. According to the American Prospect, limitations on grant funding for sanctuary cities, out. No tax on tips. After a bit of debate, it did make it onto page 274. Now, I don't understand. Democrats even stole this policy. It passed the Senate unanimously as a standalone bill. Unanimously. The House never took it up, but they did put it in the BBB. And now the Senate will say there's no tax on tips, but only up to $25,000, which if you make a living as a waitress, you're often making minimum wage, or in some states far less, because you survive almost 100% on your tips.
Guys, again, like, I hope you appreciate this because we're showing you everything that's happening behind the scenes, guys. There's so much news out there, and we're trying to get things passed by, but we are seeing that things are being watered down, and they're not really talking about it, so we're showing you everything. But I do want to show you this, too, as well, because this, guys, is the thing that's going to win us the midterms. It's going to be the very thing that changes the entire scope of elections for the next 20 years, guys. This new Make American Elections Great Again Act is now ordering, this bill is ordering a new census of the U.S. citizens only, directs states to redraw House maps accordingly, and ends non-citizen voting in federal elections. This is being tacked on, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this, because if we can get this passed, it's one step closer to removing any aid that's giving to an illegal alien and not being given to a U.S. taxpayer. This is the stuff we voted for, putting America first. Lay Lewis, thank you so much for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. If you got a free membership from Lay, show her some love in the chat, guys. OG of the channel. Pamela, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go, guys. Show Pamela some love in the chat. This is amazing, guys. Y'all's Pamela Harper's giving is just such a blessing. Y'all show Pamela some love in the chat, as well as Sweetie. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said, Joel, you are the best. Love your show. You're always giving us the best information. Guys, I want to show you everything, not just one side of it. If you can see everything, then you are fully informed and you can share this. You can bring the truth to as many people as possible.
Waitress at the moderately nice restaurant down the street, 15 to 20 tables a night, average bill, call it $150, $25 to $30 tip times 20, that could be $600 a night. You could reach that $25,000 limit in 2 to 3 months. Also, the taxes on 25 grand would only be like 2 or 3 grand tops if you're in that tax bracket. I mean, this sounds nice, but it's not what was promised. All these senators told us no tax on tips, not some tax on tips. This had to be changed because one unelected woman.
Guys, oh my goodness. And this is big stuff too, guys, because I'm going to pull this over in just a moment. But General Flynn says that they are working with investigations of the DOJ to investigate, and they will go to prison. General Flynn says Jim Comey, James Clapper, John Brennan, for their plot, 2017 plot against Trump. The evidence is clear. Guys, oh my goodness, this is big stuff going on. I told you, this whole Obama thing is blowing up right now. And what I love is that Daniel Ratcliffe, the CIA director, is unleashing all of this right now, guys. This is what we voted for. Accountability. Put these people in jail that literally lied to the entire country, used the CIA and the FBI to try to go after Trump.
She just cost the mother trying to support her kids thousands of dollars a year. Great job, lady. You see how insane all this is. Look, I am out on this bill as the Senate passed it. I am. Sorry, not sorry. Like I said, love you, Donald Trump, but I think you're being misled on the new perverted product of what you just saw get passed out of the Senate, and especially what you intended this to be. This was noted by a guest on Ron Paul's podcast, how the House and even Trump is getting fleeced by some woman that no one elected.
What they did is all of the carrots that the leadership put in on the Republican House, on the House version of the bill to appease conservatives were ripped out by the Senate. We got you, we suckered you into voting for it, and they were ripped out.
And then the Senate, instead of firing or even overruling her, voted on it. Sure, we got all these tax cuts, which, look, again, super great, okay? But not many not many things to add money back to the budget. The government gets less revenue, still has to pay for illegals, has to spend more money on a ton of things, including defense, and raises the debt ceiling, which, by the way, what's the point of having a debt ceiling if you can just raise it? If your toilet is overflowing and filling up your house, do you raise the ceiling? Or do you fix the toilet and pump the crap out? I also find it disturbing that we had multiple people working on this today, reading through whatever was available, and we had no access to this bill in its entirety with adequate time to read it among 6 people, which means neither did senators.
Boom.
If the Senate's version...
I'm telling you, we show you everything on here, guys. This is how crazy this thing is getting. And everything that they're trying to do is stop the growth of what Trump is doing. The U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs in June, higher than expectations. And again, not just that, he is winning at almost every single level. But this right here, guys, I'm telling you, what they're trying to cover up, this is the big one. Obama's Trump-Russia collusion report was corrupt from the start. I'm going to read you a little excerpt from this, guys, right here. This bombshell new CIA review of the Obama administration's spy agency's assessment that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election to help Donald Trump was deliberately corrupted by our own CIA and FBI to frame a sitting president of treason. Guys, this right here, CIA Director John Brennan, FBI Director James Comey, who was in charge of the Epstein case and whose daughter is also lead prosecutor of this disastrous Diddy case, and the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper. Now, they are saying, General Flynn and CIA Director Ratcliffe are saying that in the investigation, these people will go to jail. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because these people are held accountable. These people go to jail, changes everything. The deep staters, we finally start clawing in to get them out. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, so much is going on, but we want to show you the entire context. Andy, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Let's go. He said, so we need to pass the big, beautiful bill to get a few Trump items in, but still allow these traitors to get their report. Send this bill back to get remade. Don't sign it, Trump. I am in 100% favor. Get out the pork. Hill Farm, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Hill Farm and Andy some love in the chat. And listen to this, guys, because I'm telling you, I really appreciate the people that fight back against these corrupt deep staters and expose everything. Listen to this.
So people saying, hey, the rule vote was supposed to be 11 o'clock. Of course, people are straggling in, but it could be kicked to early afternoon. But they're up to 25, maybe plus Republican members that are not even ready to vote for the rule yet. This is pretty controversial when you can't get a rule vote to get it to the floor to even start debating. So can you walk us through exactly where we stand, sir?
Yes, Steve, great to be on. First of all, let me level set because I know your audience is such a great patriotic group of folks that want to support what the president is doing and that to advance the MAGA agenda. And I think that President Trump, is looking for us to deliver on what he campaigned on. And this is where the crux of the problem is. There are those of us in the House that are reviewing the bill after it came through the Senate, and we believe it falls short. We believe that it will create too much spending, and that is too much in the way of deficits over the next 4 or 5 years in particular, with backloaded savings and more deficits up front. We believe that it gutted our changes to the Green New Scam subsidies such that there won't be an effective termination of the Green New Scam. We believe that it continues to allow, for example, illegals to be able to get Medicaid. There are other things. I could go through a laundry list if you want me to. But I think the bigger question you're asking is, where are we? And I think you've noted that the president and some of his great supporters, all good friends of mine, friends of this show, like Russ Vought, the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, great folks that we've been talking to on a daily basis, they believe the answer is that the president is going to produce growth and revenue through tariffs that will make up the shortfall that this bill produces in the form of deficits. Look,
guys, and I want to just let you know, in the few months that we've been doing the tariffs, Trump has been able to bring in $122 billion with estimates towards $400 to $500 billion in an entire year. That is a ton of revenue. $400 to $500 billion in pure tariff revenue. That's a win.
I'm sympathetic to those guys. They're my friends, and I believe in the president, and I believe in his agenda. But I think we have a responsibility in Congress to level set what we're doing with the spending restraint that is necessary for growth. The final point on that. You've got Malay down in Argentina. They got 5.7% growth. How do you think they got that? They got that by wiping out their version of the swamp, by cuts and deregulation. I think Congress has to step up to the plate and deliver for the president. That's what we're trying to do. We hope to meet with the White House today. We had a meeting with the speaker till 5 minutes ago. I'm looking up the clocks. There's a vote that I got to go vote here in a second on a procedural move. Democrats are insane. Republicans have put together a product that has a lot of good pieces to it, but it's falling short in my view. I want the Green New Scam deal fixed, and I want us to get to the place where we're honoring our commitment to reduce deficits. If we can do those things, amend it and send it back to the Senate, then we can deliver for the president, in my opinion.
Guys, You think Trump's not playing around with what I told you guys? Look at this. Breaking in the latest U.S. jobs report, native-born workers, native-born, gained 830,000 jobs, while foreign-born lost 348,000. Unemployment is going down. When Biden was president, U.S. native-born workers lost 800,000 jobs while he was 4 years as president. Foreign-born workers gained 1.2 million jobs. Now, you tell me which is America first. This type of stuff doesn't get enough news, guys, but this is what is happening behind the scenes. That is the truth of our economy, the truth of our workforce, but Trump is truly putting America first.
I know you got to bounce in a second. We'd love to get you back when you're free, because we think that this audience will be critical in actually making something happen like they did on the artificial intelligence part yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't normally just go to the politics, but the reality is we couldn't pass this in the Senate. JD had to come down as VP and kind of break it with the constitutional tiebreaker. The Senate is the problem, and you can see the things replete with things that not only President Trump didn't run on, but are outrageous. We had Dave Walsh on here for 30 minutes last night, our energy expert, saying the Green New Scam is actually undercuts and chop blocks President Trump's ability to get to the 2.8 to 3.5% growth. Mm-hmm. But this has come in from the Senate. How do you just, on the politics, let's say you make the changes you want to make. Well, then it goes back to the Senate. We start the process all over again. And I'm not saying, hey, it's got to be done by Friday or has to be done by mid-July, but just the reality that you have such a rhino and donor-owned Senate. How do you ever anticipate, with all the good intention you got and the good cuts and things like that, how do you even anticipate it getting passed? We barely got this passed. In fact, we had to use the vice president to tie break on something that's not, is suboptimal, sir.
Well, that is the legitimate question. It's the one we're having conversations with the White House about, because we want to deliver. Here's what we believe, Steve, and I think you know this. The pressure cooker in Washington, in the swamp, for tax cuts is really high, right? K Street, everybody in town is wired to deliver on tax cuts. There is nobody in this town that is turning up the pressure to deliver on the spending restraint and on the reforms to things like the Green New Scam. K Street got involved, and let's just take that for a minute. Late night on Sunday, I think it was, they had something they were trying to work out to get this through. JD obviously came in and broke the tie. They did what's called a wraparound amendment, which is what they did to basically pull it all together. And in doing that, they didn't run any of it by the good guys like Rick Scott or Mike Lee or Ron Johnson or Rand Paul or anybody else. What they did was they jammed in the provision that guts the Green New Scam reforms that we put in place. They did that as a giveaway to a couple of senators who weren't fond of what we were doing to undo the Green New Scam, which, by the way, the president campaigned on. The House delivered about a 55 or 60% termination of the Green New Scam. The Senate wanted to water it down. We fought it back. Mike Lee and others fought it back. But then last minute, 11th hour, right before the vote, they jammed that provision in there. That was the deal killer for me, Steve. I was wobbling because, I didn't think it did enough on deficits, but I want to deliver for the president. The Senate sucks. We need to get the tax cuts. We need to get the border money. We need to support what Miller and Homan and the guys are doing. I'm all on board, and I'm giving a lot of deference. But I got everybody to understand, I had already given and given and given over the last 6 months that we're not doing enough on cuts. We're not doing enough to meet the moment on the mandatory spending. We're not doing what Milei is doing in Argentina because Congress is too freaking gutless and cowardly. The president's leading, and we need to meet the moment. In my view right now, to answer your question, we don't need to redo the whole bill, amend it, take the version we already passed out of the House, put our Green New Scam language in there, make some modifications to meet the framework that we did to keep deficits, keep it deficit neutral, and then make a few other tweaks and send it back to the Senate. And then dare Murkowski or dare some of these guys to jam the president's agenda when what we're doing is try to do exactly what the president wants. Terminate the Green New Scam, have a deficit neutral approach to tax and spend policy, and then let's call the question. But I'm not going to get rolled on the policies that Texans care about, which is ending the Green New Scam and not racking up more deficits.
guys. And again, too, we're showing you everything, guys. We don't hold back. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for your support. Want to show some love to Pamela Harper. Y'all show Pamela some love in the chat for her super chat. But right here, President Trump has just called on Jerome Powell to resign immediately. He said, too late, should resign immediately. Fed chair should be investigated by Congress. Guys, everybody's getting investigated. Everybody's finding out that there's a lot of skeletons in a lot of closets, including this guy, on the money that they were using billions of dollars to live luxurious lifestyles, while the hard-earned workers, taxpayers, are having to fork over more money, and they won't even lower interest rates, guys. This is a joke. And now that Trump has officially called him to be investigated and to resign, you can know the DOJ is going to go after them, just like the DOJ is going after him as well, guys. I'm telling you, if we aren't showing you, like we're showing you everything, this stuff, you're not going to see on mainstream media, but we want to make sure that you're fully informed with what's going on. We are working to clean out the deep state, expose everybody, and call out everybody. This is MAGA, guys. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat, guys. This is what we voted for. We the people make America great again.
Well, what about the loopholes? This thing on Medicaid for illegal. Senator Schmidt's telling us 1.4 off, but I think there's other ways. We're not ironclad. I just don't know how we do Medicaid cuts for working class Americans and still allow us any chance at all that a illegal alien could get Medicaid. Is that one of the things that you're going to try to tweak as you go back to the White House?
100%. I wasn't going through my whole list, although I mentioned earlier. Let me explain this, because your audience is the most educated of any of the audiences out there. So it is already unlawful for Medicaid to go to illegals, right? So you're not supposed to do it. But they backdoor into it, and we've got reports showing that millions get Medicaid. So what did we do? In the bill, there's a section, I can't remember the number, section 7.1, blah, blah, blah. And it does tighten it some. It puts some teeth into it. CBO scores it as saving $5 or $6 billion. So Senator Schmidt is not wrong. There's language in there that makes it better. And we fought for that in the House, and then the Senate's got it. But the one thing we did in the House, and this is important, and it's a part of the Medicaid scam, right? You and all your viewers and all of us want to make sure the vulnerable for whom Medicaid was created, and working class Americans, they get the ability to go get health care. But we don't want the able-bodied, the scammers, to get it. We don't want insurance companies and fat cats to get rich on the back of this program. So here's how it works. The fact is, you take some of that money, the state money, they'll go spend it on illegal aliens. They won't use the federal money, which they're prohibited from doing, but they'll use their state money, but they'll still claim all of the provider tax dollars and the FMAP matching dollars and use that to fatten their coffers. So they
what did I tell you guys? I told you. Trump is working with people in Congress to eliminate the use of federal dollars, state dollars, local dollars, to be used on non-citizens, illegal aliens. And what you're hearing now is straight from the congressmen of how they do it. Guys, we're bringing full context of everything. I hope you appreciate this. If you do, guys, show some love with the like button if you don't mind. But this is the whole truth of what we're talking about. That Trump is playing chess, everybody's playing checkers, but we bring you the full information so that you can see how they do it and why Trump is making the moves that he's doing. It's not just because he doesn't want, number one, federal dollars or any dollars to go to illegal aliens, but he knows if he can attack it at the federal level, the state level, and the local level, it changes everything.
Run the restrictions. In the House bill, we said you're going to lose your federal match if you continue to provide Medicaid to illegal aliens.
Guys.
And so, California, for example, the Senate stripped that out. They hid behind the parliamentarian, but they didn't fight hard enough to keep it in, and they didn't rework the language so that we can guarantee that those federal dollars don't flow to states that give money to illegal aliens. I hope that's clear.
Chip, are you in the contention going to go over to the White House before the rule vote or after the rule vote? Because I would strongly recommend you go before the rule vote, right? To lay it on the table and give the president really directionally where you guys are trying to go and how actually you're trying to support his agenda that was stripped out in the Rhino and donor-controlled and K Street-controlled, lobbyist-controlled Senate, sir?
So I'm supposed to be heading up there right now. Once I finish with you, I got to go vote, and then I got to hop in a car and head over to the White House and hopefully meet with the president or his folks or both. We're all there to support what we're trying to do, support the MAGA agenda, support the president, but we've got to make sure that this Congress isn't rolling us or the president's agenda. We can't have more deficits, and we can't have the Green New Scam continue with those subsidies. They're going to kill the American energy, and in addition, frankly, our environment as well. I mean, I don't want to see solar farms and wind farms and battery facilities all over the Texas Hill Country and all over Texas. So we got to go stop this stuff and go get a win for the president.
Knowing the president, I would strongly recommend, Chip, if you would say, Mr. President, you can get the fourth quarter of 2019. You had the economy clicking at 3.4% growth, which would be a home run here and turn everything around. Some of these provisions in here make it impossible, particularly the Green New Scam and the make it impossible for you to hit your growth target. President Trump's about growth, and I don't think I think the Senate has hid from him, as we had Dave Walsh yesterday, how what they stripped out is going to hurt the ability to get north of 3%. And the president's looking for 4% or 5% growth, which is all doable if we get this bill right. So, Chip Roy, go with God. Good luck with the White House, with the president.
Guys, this is big stuff what we're talking about. What you're about to see next. Let me tell you this. This is the 100% truth. Republicans better realize there are 80 million Trump supporters, not 80 million GOP supporters. People, we don't care about the old Republican Party, just like the Democratic Party is done lost out. The old GOP Party is done lost out because they're all rhinos. They're all establishment. They do not put America first. They get kickbacks, and they would rather win instead of putting America first and serving we the people. So the thing that you're about to hear next, guys, this is the game changer. This changes everything with how things move forward when this gets passed. And I promise you, Trump is doing everything in his power to get this passed. With what you're about to hear next, this would be a win that would change everything. Check this out.
Well, I was talking with President Trump on the phone, and I told him that my idea is to have a bill that immediately calls for a new census in America and only counts American citizens, does not count non-citizens, illegal aliens, and everyone that's living in the United States. The second part that the bill does is it will direct the states to call for new redistricting of House seats based on the count of American citizens in the United States. So that would drastically change most House seats. And that way, each district is truly represented by a representative representing American citizens only. The third and very important piece to this bill, Eric, is my bill will make it against the law and that no non-citizen can vote in federal elections. And that's extremely important because Democrats have a goal. They have an objective to allow non-citizens to vote in all of our elections. They already do it in San Francisco. They do it in New York, and they tried to do it here in Washington, D.C., but we wouldn't let them. And so this bill is extremely important. I'm thankful to have President Trump's support, and apparently Governor DeSantis too weighed in on that bill just the other day on Real America's Voice, by the way. And so we got to get this bill passed on the House floor.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because we happen to know the guy who asked that question. You may recognize him as well a little bit, but let's take a look at how that went down. Again, we were at Alligator Alcatraz yesterday, and this gentleman named, it's a really bright guy who Trump seems to really like, Brian Glenn. He happens to be Rav's our own White House correspondent, asked the question. Listen.
Guys, but I want you to see this, though, because, again, why this is so important. This new Obama judge just filed another injunction against Trump to allow illegals into the country, to allow, this is how crazy this is, guys. This Obama judge is trying to circumvent the ruling of the Supreme Court by creating a global protected class. So he's creating this. This doesn't exist. But this class would include every current and future illegal alien, allowing them to claim asylum. And this is all coming from a judicial judge that is who? Magic phrase, Soros and USAID, backed by NGOs, to try and teach every illegal alien on their journey to the U.S. This right here is being fought now again. They will not stop. Every single Democrat is going to fight for every non-citizen because that's the only way they can win the House. Senators, you get 2 from every state, no matter what. But when it comes to the House of Representatives, the place that controls the purse, guys, the place that controls the money of the United States and the spending, that's the House. Why do you think that the Democrat judges and all them are fighting so hard for these illegal aliens to be citizens? Not even to be citizens, just to be in the United States, because they get counted in the census, which gets counted towards the amount of representatives that get counted for each state. Why do you think all the big blue states have so many? They got so many, they're sanctuary cities. They got so many illegal aliens, and they all go Democrat. This right here is what Trump thinks, but what I love is it's directly in line with where things are moving.
How many Americans with proof of citizenship are in our area, in our country, redistricting some of the House districts? Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll speak for both of us. We love it. You didn't like this one. I know all about it. We want to bring our elections back. The election in 2020 was rigged, millions and millions of votes. It had to do with COVID and a lot of things, but it really had to do with the crooked people. The Democrats are very good at cheating on elections. And that's why I said too big to rig. They tried this one too. But after about 9:02, they gave up too many votes. Too big to rig. Ron would love it. I would love it. Christie would love it. That's what they have to do. They have to bring it back. And we have to look. Ron, they include anybody that happens to be in your state.
Well, California would lose like 5 seats if they did a fair census. And even beyond that, the Biden census gypped Florida of at least 1 seat. We only got 1 seat in the last census. Are you trying to tell me that Florida only had 1 seat in that? We should have had at least 2. Texas should have had another one. That could be the difference in the House of Representatives in the majority. So I would love for them to redo the census for 26. My legislature will redistrict those lines. We'll get it to where it's fair. But as it's right now, this country is not fairly apportioned. I've got so many more millions of people in Florida that have representation because of that flawed census.
Mr. President, I think it's going to do very well. A lot of people, I don't know if you've heard about it, it's captivated the country. Everybody wants it. It's going to get in. It's going to pass.
What a really common sense idea, and we can go through a couple of the line items in there. For example, redrawing districts. Yeah, at least 1 more seat to Florida, at least 1 more seat to Texas. California, I think they lost those 2 seats. Probably would have lost 4 or 5. Maybe Illinois loses. New York should have lost more. I mean, it makes so much sense. I think anyone who doesn't vote for this bill is showing their hand. Their cards are, we want illegals to vote in our elections because that's the only way we can win, and that would be Democrats.
Absolutely, Eric. And the great thing is about this bill is it truly gives the American people representation. It gives the American taxpayer representation, and it puts the American people's interests first and reins in the federal government to have representatives that truly will represent American citizens. And
guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, I just love when I feel, and I know you do too, when you feel like, wow, they're actually doing something to put Americans first. It's so foreign now because of what we've experienced over the past 20 years, but my goodness, this is just so much common sense.
That's where we've gotten way off track. This federal government has not worked for the American people for decades now. And we know the Democrats, they don't care about the American people. They're representing illegals and cartels and all the people that they flooded our country with illegally across the border for the past 4 years. So this is a bill I am so excited for, and I'm so grateful to have President Trump's support and his endorsement. And also Governor DeSantis, I thought, explained it really well there, how a new census will drastically change the House of Representatives and elections in 2026.
Guys, and this is big too, because again, it always goes back to the money. Follow the money. And this right here, now that Trump has called for Jerome Powell to immediately resign, Scott Besson has already told us that in the next coming weeks, he's going to be replaced because he won't lower the interest rates. They just found a scandal with him spending $2.5 billion to make wherever they work at so luxurious. It's insane, guys. Marble floors and all these luxurious things, and just, it is crazy where our taxpayers have gone to. And now Trump is calling for him. Look, Fed chair should be investigated by Congress. Like, this is big words coming from President Trump. I want to say thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. Let's go, brother. He said, so CIA Director Ratcliffe releases a report proving the Obama administration created and ran the Russian hoax. King Obama must steal the 2020 election too. It's all coming out. Thank you so much, brother. Sweet Kitten, thank you so much for the super chat. I love it. Y'all show Sweet Kitten and Andy some love in the chat. Trump's big, beautiful bill is going to come to pass, guys. And what I love, too, is just hear about there's so much more benefits coming, because they're trying to say everything. But it's big, guys. It's thousands of pages. Listen to this.
The 4th of July deadline is just days away, and the House is reopening debate on the big, beautiful bill right now. But it is no layup for Speaker Mike Johnson.
This is no longer just a House bill. It's not a Senate bill. It's the bill of the people, of the hardworking American people, and we are going to deliver it. We got a clear mandate from the people in November to do this. President Trump ran on a clear set of priorities and promises, and we did as well, and this is the vehicle to deliver it. We're almost there at that finish line.
Allow me to get in the weeds without losing my mind, because I have a long list of things that I absolutely despise.
We'd expect nothing less.
About what was inserted over in the Senate to placate the likes of Lisa Murkowski.
Oh, boy.
It's not just Lisa Murkowski, it was also the lobbyist for the climate con artist.
Amen.
Yes.
I'm with you.
Right? Ugly. Ugly.
Last minute insertion. Ugly.
A paragraph.
That's how it works.
It added $100 billion. Well, it's got a lot of Republicans in the House very angry. Right now, so about 15 minutes from now, that's based on Chad Pergram's timing, the House is expected to vote on the rule. And the House must first adopt the rule in order to then consider the full bill. And if the rule fails, the House is then blocked from considering the entire one big beautiful bill or putting it up for a full vote. As of this morning, there were more than, this is based on Chad's reporting and my own reporting, there were more than 12, so more than a dozen Republican no's on the rule, on the test vote, just to get to the big, beautiful bill and put it on the floor. And so if this vote goes down, according to Chad, Republicans cannot even bring this bill to the floor. So this is what we're waiting for right now. People are, conservatives are PO'd about what happened over in the Senate. How do you see it?
I mean, look, the House delivered a clean bill without this exemptions for solar and wind subsidies. The first version of the Senate bill actually changed placed in service to under construction, which extended them. Then the next version got back to where we should have been. And then at the last minute, you mentioned, and I know this is getting in the weeds for everyone, I'd encourage you to check out Alex Epstein's Energy Talking Points. He does a great job of articulating this, but there's one paragraph insertion that basically creates 12-month window to begin construction. And if they do that, it's as little as 5% expenditures. It opens up these tax credits and subsidies for the next decade, which could be hundreds of billions, if not $1 trillion.
But my question is, can Republicans reject this? Can they find a compromise between the House and the Senate bill? They're way apart. Is there a compromise somewhere in there? And do you really think Republicans are going to reject what is the biggest piece of President Trump's agenda right now?
Guys, and I want to show you, because this is probably, thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat, brother. He said the census can't be counted until all these invaders are removed. They are going to lie and fill out the census unless the census is done in person and of federal buildings only. Y'all show Andy some love in the chat, guys. Right here with the big, beautiful bill, ICE will be supercharged on a massive scale. $45 billion to more than double ICE detention capacity to roughly 100,000 beds. $14 billion for transport and removal, $8 billion to hire 10,000 additional ICE personnel, $1.3 billion for ICE OPLA, additional attorneys and supportive staff, $858 million for signing and retention bonuses, $787 million for state local participation in ICE DHS efforts, and it goes on, guys. But this is the let me tell you this. We're about to spend an additional $62 billion to try and this is probably going to have to happen every single year to try and fix the problems that Biden let in with Alejandro Mayorkas. And that's why Trump said that he needs to be investigated, he needs to be prosecuted. We spent, and no, not we, our elected officials decided that it was okay to give hundreds of billions of dollars to non-citizens, illegal aliens, and step over American citizens. And now we're trying to fix that with this big, beautiful bill, and this is why they're trying to stop it. The Democrats are only trying to stop the non-citizens from being here because that's their voter base. You have a lot of Democrats, guys, that are going to vote Democrat no matter what because they hate Trump. That's about 40% of America. You got 40% of America that loves Trump MAGA no matter what. Well, the other 20% are, guess what? Independents and non-citizens. So this is where the Democrats try to win. And it's sickening because, again, as we move towards these historic tax cuts, the stuff happening behind the scenes is what's most important that needs to be done.
See that happening, but I don't know how we get there.
It is not it doesn't have to, I don't mean to hog the floor. Jump in here. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be, it's not an all or nothing. It is we're going to make changes to it and send it back to the Senate.
Right.
It is not adhering to the July 4th deadline, obviously, but that is the central question. The Republicans who are fiscally conservative, as they damn well should be, given the $38 trillion in debt and the $1.2 trillion that we're paying in interest on the national debt just right now annually, they're trying to figure out, and this is based on a source of mine, what to ask for exactly. Do they go back to demanding that some of the House policies, like reducing the payment from the federal government to states that give Medicaid to illegal aliens? That got taken out of the Senate bill. Do they go back to demanding that, or demanding what was put back in for the Green New Deal? So what do they want out of this? What do they ask for? Are they just going to get some sort of like fiscal commission?
Well, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. This July 4 was self-imposed, and I like that because it gives us time to get money. What's that famous Federal Reserve saying? The long and variable lags of monetary policy. It takes time for money and fiscal policy as well to work its way through the system for midterms. So I understand the urgency, especially wanting to combat all the tariff news, get this passed. That said, if you need a few more days or a week or whatever to figure out this bill, I'm actually okay with that if it helps solve some of these problems.
Yes.
I don't need Friday 9 a.m. That urgency. I understand it. There's some good...
Guys, do y'all align with that? Would you rather wait a couple more weeks and get things the way that they're supposed to be, or just sign it as is? Because again, too, Trump is winning across the board, guys. I want you to listen to this, because what I love is I get to show you things where even like CNN can't help it admit that Trump's tariffs are winning. So if Trump's tariffs are winning, the border is secure, the economy is growing. Getting the bill done tomorrow would be phenomenal, and it'd be a huge, huge win. But I feel like he has a lot of other wins that people love and are okay with. And if we wait, maybe we get a better, more stripped down bill that cleans out all the scams, the Green New scam, all the extra benefits for non-citizens. But listen to this, because this is winning whenever a left-wing media outlet can't help but give Trump some praise.
When you look at the headline numbers, 147,000 jobs added, there's no denying that this is a very resilient labor market economy. And I've spoken to so many economists since Liberation Day who have said to me time and time again that despite the solid numbers we've seen in previous months, they said, Zane, wait till June. June, you will see that. We'll start to see the impact in the hard data of the sort of wavering tariff policy. That's not happening. When you look at...
You hear that, guys? Look, everybody said just keep waiting, just keep waiting. Well, guess what? Jobs are still being added, unemployment is going down, and we are finally getting the inside scoop that Trump knows what the heck he's doing. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, check this out.
Let's welcome back to the show. Look who's here, House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan. Chairman, it's always great to see you again.
You too.
So what is happening now? Congressman Thomas Massey reported claims he has enough Republicans to block it in the House. I mean, with full attendance, you can't have more than four GOP defections are going to sink the bill. What's happening right now?
I think, there are meetings going on, there are talks going on, just like Congressman Johnson mentioned. I think my colleagues are right. I think we get there. I think we get there because it is a good bill. And I always tell everyone, it's a good bill because Democrats hate it. The reason they hate it is because it doesn't empower government. It actually empowers families. It empowers Americans, lets them keep more of their money, gives them school choice, makes sure our border stays secure, and says to able-bodied people in our welfare system who are getting your money and your viewers' money, guess what? You're going to have to work now. So it's just good common sense Republican basic principles that we have as a party that I think in the end that carries the day and this thing gets passed. So it'll take a while. It always does in this process, but I think we're going to get there.
What are the big sticking points now?
Well, I think obviously some of our members didn't like some of the changes that the Senate made, whether it was with the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which did all this stuff on the green energy stuff, the subsidies there. There was concerns about that. So that's the key. And I think just the overall that we maybe didn't cut enough spending, some members think. I agree we should cut more. But we got a small majority in both the House and Senate. And you got to kind of cobble together the votes. And so you moderates don't always want to cut as much as we conservatives do. And it's just how it works. So, again, I think with that tight of a small of a majority, this is probably as good as it's going to get. And I've said to my colleagues, and I respect them all, I've said, look, it was 50-50 in the Senate. The vice president had to come break the tie. And the two of the three votes on the Republican side against it were Senator Tillis, Senator Collins. Not exactly conservatives. Do you think it can get much more conservative when that's the lay of the land? I think it's difficult. So let's look at what a good bill this is, how it, I think, is going to help economic growth by letting people and businesses keep more of their money, invest that money, spend that money. I think it on balance is a pretty darn good piece of legislation that we should be supporting.
So we've got a third procedural vote coming up. Do you think it'll get through that?
Well, that's the big test. I think the rules actually may be a bigger test than the final passage. So I hope it does. That's what the talks are about. The other thing I think is important, and you had this at the top of the show where we talked about the president's approval ratings amongst Republicans. I mean, momentum is an important thing. It's important in sports, and it's certainly important in politics. The president's got record approval ratings. He's off this amazing, successful exercise in Iran. The NATO countries are ending up more of their money to help pay for NATO. We got a border that's secure. The stock market is up, as you just pointed out. Things are moving in the right direction.
Yes.
And now we're going to stop a bill that cuts taxes for the families we get to represent. I just fail to see how that makes sense. So in the end, I think we get there because it's just good common sense and it's consistent with what we told the voters we were going to do. And I always say we make this job too complicated. What we tell the voters we're going to do. If you get elected, go do that. President Trump does it better than anyone.
Yes.
And that's what we got to focus on.
Guys, and look. This is how big it is. Let me know if you support this. Della Cole, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. So now our SSA and SSDI needs a raise to help them. That's on SSA and SSDI 100%. Give our money to Americans, not non-citizens. Y'all show Della Cole some love in the chat, as well as Deanna Rankin. Thank you so much for the super chat. Say we can wait as long as the right thing is done. No money for illegals, fraud cut from Medicare, work mandate for the able-bodied to receive help. Love it. Y'all show Deanna Rankin some love in the chat. Breaking, Ogles officially asked the Secretary of the Interior to add Donald Trump to Mount Rushmore. Guys, if this would not be the biggest flex on every other president in the past 50 years for Trump to be added, you know what? I put my vote in it. Put the guy's head on the rock. Let me know your thoughts. Are you supportive of this? Because I love it.
To be a 4.6 trillion tax hike. I know one number's out there, 1.6 trillion, but all in, it's 4.6 trillion tax hike on the U.S. economy. You know, Democrats are trying to make hay, saying, you know, this is going to throw 16 million people off of Medicaid. But about half of that is able-bodied workers who just have to volunteer for 20 hours a week. That's 7.8 million. And then I think 1.3 million people are on Medicaid, and plus people can still get Obamacare. Can you break that down for the viewer on why that 16 million number, it appears to be inflated?
Well, yeah, I mean, requiring people to work who are getting something, a benefit from the taxpayers when they're able-bodied, that is not kicking anyone off. That is called common sense. You work every day. I have to work. The families I get the privilege of representing, the 800,000 people in the 4th District of Ohio, they got to go to work. Why can't people who are on Medicaid, for goodness sake, to think of the 35-year-old able-bodied male and he's getting a benefit and not having to do a work or a work requirement or any type of volunteer activity? You got to be kidding me. Like, that's just crazy. So anyone with common sense understands that should happen. But Democrats say, oh, no, that's kicking people off. It's just flat out not true.
Okay, Chairman Jordan, we'll be following the vote.
Guys, this is big. I mean, lots of moving things are happening today. I want to show you this because this is probably some of the biggest breaking news that we're ever going to report on this channel. And it's rightly deserved, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Guys, enjoy this because we've been waiting for this for a long time.
Let me ask you this. Who do you believe was the mastermind behind the Russia collusion lie?
Well, there's a lot of masterminds, but I think in general, this was lit on fire by Team Obama and his team after Trump won in 2016. So they could have stopped it. They should have stopped it. Instead, they lit the fuse. They put out a BS intelligence report, if you recall, right before the president came in. They framed General Flynn. They framed the entire Trump administration. And then they appointed Mueller. So once Trump fired Comey, Mueller gets appointed. And we lived through that Mueller witch hunt for years. And I think, me personally, I think if you're going to find criminality, it's going to be with Mueller and his witch hunters that were there for so many years. I think that's where you're going to find the corruption. So it wasn't just I said this many times, Maria, and I think it was lost on people. It wasn't just about all the corruption that they did to create and manufacture the Russia hoax. The Mueller investigation itself was a hoax and was illegal. When Mueller walked into that door, how many times did I say it? He said, "Where are the Russians?" "Oh, sir, there are none." Why didn't Mueller leave? Why did all those people work for years? Why did they hide the information from Congress for so many years? I think you're going to find many of those top-level lawyers and FBI agents, as Cash said, did not conduct themselves in a professional manner. And I think if interviewed again, you could maybe get to the bottom of it. But look, you have two guys that want to get to the bottom of it. I have every faith that they will.
As Devin, you just mentioned Robert Mueller. Is that where we're going to see accountability? Are we not going to see any accountability from the likes of McCabe, Strzok, and what about Comey?
Well, Dan and Cash are part of the cleanup crew now. So because you had the initial criminality, you had the Clinton campaign doing what they did. Then you have Obama that basically lights the fuse.
Yes.
Well, then you had Mueller who basically came in and covered it all up. So I think when you go in and start to look at that, remember, like everybody's paying attention to Biden, and recently these Her tapes were released, and everybody knew. Now they act like they knew that Biden, was essentially out of it. Well, those lawyers that were working for Mueller had to know that Mueller was out of it. Before Biden craziness, you had Mueller craziness. So I just believe that the agents and people that moved from the Russia hoax into the Mueller witch hunt hoax, those people need to be interviewed, and there should be accountability there. I'm really anxious and want to learn from what Director Patel said, this new information. I wonder if it does have to do with that. I don't know yet. I mean, I'm sure that I will, that we will see it as a President's Intelligence Board. We will get all that information. The President's been very clear with me when he asked me to take on this role. He wants the corruption cleaned out.
Yeah.
He wants the politicization cleaned up.
Yes.
And I think what we're seeing here is you got to have transparency. You now have Ed Martin put in place in Washington, D.C. Now, look, we can't deal with the justices and that problem.
Well, that's right.
We'll
what
have
about
to deal
the
with
courts?
it one day at a time.
I mentioned Judge Boasberg. He was the one who gave Kevin Kleinsmith a smack on the wrist when Kevin Kleinsmith said, no, Carter Page is not a CIA asset, which he was. And what did he get? Community service. And here comes Judge Boasberg again, trying to stop President Trump on the immigration plans.
Yeah, every time you peel something back here, Maria, what we learn is the corruption was much worse than what we thought. And I think because President Trump has come in, he's cleaning things out, he's putting good people in. Now what we're dealing with is the last part the left owns are the judges.
Yeah.
And now we're learning about what the judges are doing.
Devin,
guys, I'm telling you, man, if this isn't like, we're just getting everything. And what I love is what I'm about to show you next, guys, because I'm telling you, we do it different here on TrueLife News. We make sure that whenever you are watching, you're going to get the most breaking news no matter what. Lydia Erickson, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Deanna Rankin, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, I'm sorry, I meant Medicaid, not Medicare, but if there is fraud in Medicare, it should be fixed too. I love it. Y'all show Deanna Rankin and Lydia some love in the chat. This is from Representative who spoke directly with Trump and with Vance over what is going on after a 2-hour meeting. This is what I love, guys. This is the real deal news. And I hope you appreciate this. If you do, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, you do not see this on mainstream media when I'm about to show you next. Check this out.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. Just leaving the White House. Everybody say hey, Byron Donalds, next governor of Florida. It's great to be on with Timmy B. Scott Perry, my number one man, General. I got Norman, got Burkine over here. Got us all, baby. President was wonderful, as always. Informative, funny. Told me he liked seeing me on TV, which is kind of cool. Hey, Commissioner, look at there. Commissioner wearing purple. That's the color of royalty.
People, are we getting it done?
Yes, ma'am.
Good to see y'all.
I'm a happily married man. Oh, you see
I'm
that?
so sorry,
She clipped me, man. She clipped me. Did y'all see that? Anyway.
I'm good.
Big day today, folks. Hopefully we get this thing worked out. President answered all our questions, was very informative. J.D. Vance was there. It was just a very good day. Anyway, thank y'all so much for sending me here. We'll hopefully get this worked out and do some great things for this country. Do you agree, Byron?
Say that again.
Do some great things for this country, get this worked out?
Yeah, we get this worked out. We're going to do great things for America. Great meeting with the president. Folks, he's a man of his word. Says what he means what he says.
That's right. He doesn't mince too many words.
No, he does not. Not at all.
Anyway, thank y'all for sending me here again. I'm very humbled that a kid from West Hills is sitting there talking to the president, having a very good conversation. And thank y'all so much for sending me here. I'm incredibly humbled.
What he signed for you?
Yeah, he signed a bunch of stuff. It's cool.
Guys, I'm telling you, like, we show you everything, guys. And what I love too is the biggest thing that is going to come that's going to change everything is right here. This is Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, the new bill, Making America Elections Great Again Act. Guys, she said Trump is fully on board. This would just 100% change and give us a red wave for the midterms of 2026 and change the entire elections probably for the next 20 years, guys, because of how powerful this bill is. The census is everything when it comes to getting away from non-citizens. Guys, could you believe that non-citizens are counted in the Census Bureau? And that's why the blue states have so many more House seats, is because they get to count illegal aliens, because they're a sanctuary city state. Guys, if you appreciate this, guys, let me know in the chat. And if you are not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, guys, and joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want to serve you every day with the top news. Right now, guys, this is big. I wanted to show you this because, again, Elon Musk is not playing around. When you are a person who has over $400 billion in net worth, you do not play around. A new poll finds that 40% of voters say they are likely to support Elon Musk's new party called the America Party. 40% if he decides to launch it, according to a Qantas Insights. So 40% say they would join the America Party, 38% not likely, and then 22% unsure. Guys, if this guy launches a new party, it could ultimately be the America Party versus the MAGA Party. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because this is big. This would pull people from the Republican Party and the Democratic Party big time if Elon Musk pushes this. And guys, just think about it. It's not just about Elon Musk pushing it. He has the money to throw ads at it and get it out there and get the name out there and reach out to people. He says he wants to make this party 80% of what America believes in. And then the rest, we don't want to worry about it. Let me know your thoughts on this, on what Elon Musk, this new America Party versus the MAGA, what you support, because I'm telling you this could throw a big wrench into the midterms and the next presidential election big time. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our viewers, all of our subscribers, guys. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, we truly appreciate your support, guys. We thank everybody that shares our videos, likes our videos. We just want to get the truth out. We want to show you the receipts. We want to show you what everything is happening behind the scenes, guys, because to us, that's the truth. That's what's really going on. When you hear stuff and you see stuff that's going on a mainstream media, what you're seeing is what they want you to hear, what they want you to see. We try to show you all the receipts, things that are happening behind the scenes that truly affect you. And that's why we want to say thank you to all of our members, all of those that give in a super chat donation. Remember, when you give it, whether you give a membership or you are a member or you give a super chat donation, we take this money and we donate it live on stream to a local charity. This month, it'll be to a local children's home, to these kids who don't got anybody, guys. But they got us, and we're going to support them, and we partner with you, and we've been able to give thousands and thousands of dollars every single month because you partner with us, and that's what we want this channel to be known for. Guys, hopefully, and I'm calling this out, guys, in the next 4 to 8 years, TrueLife is interviewing the next presidents of the United States, and we're going to say, look, our channel, we're going to bring the truth, but we also are known for giving. And we are going to let this world know that we want to help those that truly need help. And I want to give some special love to those that have given today. Lay Lewis, thank you so much for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. Pamela Harper, thank you so much for the super chat. Show Pamela Harper some love in the chat. Sweetie, Andy, Hill Farm, William Walker, Sweet Kitten, Della Cole, Deanna Rankin, Lydia Erickson. Guys, please show them some love in the chat. We thank you so much for your support. We love you. And remember, we're here to serve you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.